I'm so excited tonight to dive in and talk with you guys. We have some people who were attending in person Farmasinergy last week, and whew, what a week! The energy is so real. It's called Farmasinergy for a reason. Like, I've literally never been to anything as energetic as Farmasinergy. So much so that I came home and I was like, but we'd love to share with you our experiences at Farmasinergy, some things we learned, how we felt. So Sarah is going to go first.
What I took away from it, my favorite thing is that we were actually the Americans, the US people, we were actually the quote unquote underdog. It just gave me such a great feeling knowing we have such great growth potential here. We haven't even begun to tap what is available here. The other takeaway was I had been wanting to meet some very particular ladies, and they were just lovely. Just lovely. I met Elsie. Elsie owns a boutique and two boutiques in Arizona. One of the reasons I joined Farmasi is so that I could put the products in our two boutiques that we have. And so I wanted to meet her and talk to her. And there was another lady named Tina, and we just sat. That's one of my pictures. We're just standing there talking. And that's it right there. And it was just great. We just they loved on me, I loved on them, and it was just very welcoming.
How were you feeling prior to Farmasinergy about attending this? Because this was a first time attendance for every single one of us that was there.
I was nervous, but in a good way. It was like, oh my gosh, um I could breathe. In my last company, our conventions were different, very, very different. And so it's a good change, right? Like I needed to embrace this good change. I can do hard things. I can go new places. I can meet new people.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Do you have any aha moments?
My aha moment is that we were the underdog, and I cannot wait to grow our US. That was my aha moment when I was sitting there. I had the translation in my ear, realizing that we have so much growth potential. When the last lady, the one that they made a title for, the executive boss director, they made that title for her because she had like shot above everything else. And her check last month was $1 million. And she walked up and said that. She's like, "Hi, I made $1 million last month. And so can you. How are you?" And you're like, what? It was great. Yeah. You can go on all of these trips. And that was it. And it's tap into it. It's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I really appreciate you. Go ahead, Karen.
My experience at Farmasinergy, I live in Florida, so I'm used to the heat. So that wasn't going to bother me, but I was very nervous because I literally am a country girl. And I think everybody's figured that out who was around me. And the first day was when we went and registered, and then we got to walk around the building and look at everything. And I got the distinct impression that that didn't matter. That first day, even before we walked into the center, everybody was so nice and kind. And I had jeans and a t-shirt on. Like nobody cared. Nobody cared. We were all just there for the same thing, to learn. So the nervous went away. The first morning of the main event, I was out getting a coffee, and these two women from the Dominican were dressed like movie stars. And I complimented them, and we're literally in the hallway dancing, like shaking our booties all over with these two women in the Dominican. They didn't know me. We didn't speak the same language, but we had a ball that quick. So that is literally the vibe, and it's electric. And there's no other way. I say just completely full of energy. The room is bumping. There's like laser lights, and it's bumping like boom, 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 boom. Anyway, you all know me. Um, I loved one of the other things that I loved was the home executive committee, like the people that are executives in the company in Miami were the ones literally handing out badges and backpacks. So it's really cool to see people that have like masters and PhDs and super, super big, intelligent people getting down at our level and talking to us. And that was very nice. I love seeing that. You guys, we're in the US, Canada, build in Canada, build in Mexico, but build the US and Canada because the growth is like, it's amazing. I am so excited. And even just talking to my husband about the growth, I get so excited. So my biggest takeaway, and I'm an older lady, not old, but 57. And I kind of came into this business because I was in the hair business for 30 some years. My takeaway was there was a woman on that stage who was right around my age. She'd been in 2 years and she was a six-figure earner. And she'd only been 2 years younger than I am right now when she joined. And I'm like, wow. And I don't think I even told my girls that I was there with. Mind blowing for me because I went in there with kind of the attitude and I left my other company with the attitude as, well, I guess we'll just retire then. And now I have an attitude, oh no, I'm building big. And that woman she helped give that to me. And then the only other thing I would like to say is I feel heard, I feel renewed, and I got that from all you girls that were there. And I appreciate that. I feel heard and I feel renewed. And I haven't felt that way in 9 years. So thank you, ladies. That's it.
That is so, so special. So special.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
sharing. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad you were there, and I'm I'm so thankful that I got to do this with all of
Yes.
y'all.
And next year we want everyone to come.
Oh, we
want to take over a whole floor of that hotel.
Shayna, would you like to go?
Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna say, since 2015, I've been to every single convention that my previous company held, and then this year I attended Farmasi. And like Sarah said, it was electric. One of my favorite parts of walking into one of the main sessions is like the lights and the music, and I'm I'm gonna tell you, I can't even describe the way it felt because I've never experienced anything like that. Jennifer said something and it stuck with, I know Karen and I and Donna and Karen and I joked about it as we were riding to the airport, but like everything you do in this business is content. Everything is content. Everything is content.
Everything is content.
Like that's what we're saying the whole time. Okay. I'm talking like even me just walking to the ice machine at the hotel, putting ice in a pumpkin mug is content because we want to sprinkle the different aspects of our life and what we're doing. You want mindless videos because those are usually the ones that are going to shoot up and get you followers and get traction and let people know who you are. So one of my biggest takeaways is everything is content, but also people were walking around. I'm not even kidding. Look, I'm just going to bring it over here. People were walking around like this. I am not even kidding. I'm talking like long selfie sticks. Everyone has a little ring light that clips onto their phone. Everyone is shooting content, and it was such like a girl's girl, let me hype you up. We didn't have that because we didn't necessarily know. And some of our pictures at one point it was kind of dark where we were. And one of the girls, she goes, here, let me do this. And she literally held her little ring light up so we could take all of our pictures. And she was like, move your hair, fix your dress, or stand like this. I'm talking like that's how it was. You don't know these people, but they're teaching you, they're helping you get the best content because they're doing the same thing. And I left there with a purpose, like feeling like I had a bigger purpose here. And also one thing that I absolutely loved is when our executives and our president, Emre, got on stage, he let us know exactly what his vision was. He let us know that we are aiming to be the #1 direct sales company in the world. That's on the wall. I know Jennifer made a post or video or put it somewhere. I can't remember where. It says at the HQ in Miami, which is the North America HQ, it has on the wall, we want to be the #1 direct sales company in the world. Their vision is clear. They give us all of the tools that we need. They hyped us up. They gave us new product launches. They give so many different opportunities to create content for your business that you should have, when you walk away from an event with Farmasi, you should have content for months. So like when Karen came home, next week, she's going to have, I think it's next week, she's going to have cataract surgeries. She needs content already done so she can get it scheduled and have it go off. And it looks like she's working when really she's relaxing or in the middle of surgery. You know what I mean? She's able to have all of this content to put out there for people to see. And I absolutely loved that. But the energy was out of this world. I can't wait for next year. And absolutely, we need to take 250 people with us because I want all of you here to feel what I felt, because I feel like businesses like this in this industry, it's a feeling. And I'm never going to change that mindset. It's a feeling. So how you feel and how you feel when you walk away can be a game changer for your business. You may feel one way walking in, but leaving, that kind of electric atmosphere, and the speakers, every single speaker that was on that stage was a beauty influencer. They were top leaders. They've made millions. They've made tons of money, super inspiring. And they were the most energetic, electric speakers I have ever listened to in my entire direct sales career. And if that doesn't hype you up for the next level in your business, I'm not sure what will. But the electricity, the everything is content, the vision, first and foremost for me, that is so important. Those were my, I could go on for 30 more minutes, but I won't. Those were my key takeaways. It was so much fun. I have zero regrets of last minute hopping on a plane and going.
Thank you for sharing all of that with us. It was really an incredible week together. And like I said, I'm just so grateful I got to experience it with y'all. So I want to share a couple of things on the screen if you're able to see it. I know a lot of you are mobile and so you may not be able to, but these are a lot of the cool things that they are releasing for us. And I think that was one of the things that kind of blew me away the most, was all of the tools that they're giving us from Farmasinergy. And so I have been here for 5 months. I've had a few one-on-one kind of conferences with Gochin. And Gochin is the head of all English-speaking markets. So USA, Canada, and the UK. And he basically is kind of like the head honcho here in North America. I've had some Zoom calls with him. I've had Zoom calls with Emre, one-on-one calls. And a lot of these things that they are releasing are things that I specifically mentioned, like, hey, we need this, or this is something that's helpful. And let me tell you something right now. This is one of the biggest takeaways that I have learned just being here in 5 months, is that they listen and respond. Okay. And that's massive. And I'm not talking like we talk about things and we think about them and like, oh, we got to run them by legal, and oh, we got to drum up this. And then like 3 years later down the road, you might see a change because they own the tech and because they have vision and because they are people of movement. And let me tell you something that's very refreshing. And it is also very inspiring to know that we have people like that in our corner. You know what I mean? So you've got people like that in your corner, like they're literally working for you. And one of the most awesome things that I heard them say last week, they said it from stage. I literally wrote it down and even put a post in the Glow Gang, but they said, we are continually dedicated to making your business easier, because when it's easier, you're able to be more consistent. And literally every single tool that they're releasing is making our business easier, making our life easier. So let me run over what a few of those things are real quick. Virtual try-on is coming to our websites. So someone will be able to look in the camera. And I don't know if you guys shop for eyeglasses online, but you can try them on online. You can turn your head and they're going to do that, but with makeup. How freaking cool is that? Okay, so we're gonna have a virtual try on where you can go and look into your camera on your phone or on your computer, and you can try on a blush, you can try on a lippy, you can see what it looks like on your face, on your complexion, like freaking incredible. Really excited about that. Okay, another one that they're doing is that, and this is my number one question that I get when dealing with makeup is, how do I find the right foundation shade? Okay, is there a color matching? I'm like, there's swatches, we can get an idea. There's actually going to be a foundation shade finder. You will upload your picture, you will do this for the camera, and you will answer a couple of questions like what kind of coverage you want, if you want matte or more natural, if you want what type of skin you have, and it will tell you the exact foundation and shade that it recommends. It'll tell you if it's VFX Pro or if it's Air Glow or BB cream or CC cream, and what is the shade that matches with your skin perfectly. So talk about making your life easier, huh? As an influencer, does that make your life so easy because everything's done right on the website with the customer? So I love that. Another thing, they're going to have product testimonials right inside your back office. So if you're like, what do people say about this product? You're going to have access to images. You're going to have access to actual verbiage of people saying, like, let's say flaunt it, before and after images. Their verbiage, testimonials right in your back office. You can go and share a product, pull the review right from your back office, share it. Like if you don't have it on hand, I mean, let's be real. Who has all 300 products we have on hand? Nobody. But if you want to share something or it's featured somewhere, all the testimonials are going to be featured right in your back office with real life images. I mean, it's amazing. Okay. The next thing that they're rolling out is gift cards. Perfect timing as we roll into the holiday season, right? So gift cards, they're going to be a virtual code. Okay. People can add them to cart and use them to check out. Really excited about that. But my most favorite thing they're adding, enter pharmacy assistant and task manager. It is already launched. Actually, it's in your back office. It's in the app. You can go in there and it's going to tell you, hey, you got to follow up with this person. It's been 30 days since they signed up, 60 days since they signed up, 90 days since and it's going to give you tasks that you can click, done, click, done, click, done, know how many tasks you're behind on. And it has 11 different tasks that we're starting with. Anniversary reminders, follow-up reminders, like if someone placed an order 15 days ago, you need, especially if it's nutrition, check in with them, see if they need more stuff. Congrats, you're new, you are here. If someone promoted to a new title, you're going to see that in your task manager. Oh my gosh, you hit 6% for the first time. Congratulations. It's literally going to tell you what to do and make your life so easy. Okay. Thank you reminders to help people reach 125 PV. If someone is a new frontline and they haven't placed an order yet, I mean, literally, can you ask for anything more? Seriously, they're giving you the freaking blueprint and making it so easy for you to be successful. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. One of the things that is the most powerful for me coming back from Farmasinergy and having 14 years experience in direct sales, I've never been in a place that's so openly talked about and celebrated income and earnings and money and trips and titles. Okay. It is beautiful and wonderful. And so many of us have been conditioned to think that that's taboo or that's wrong or that's bad and we shouldn't talk about it. And in reality, what the heck? We should freaking celebrate it. We should sing its praises. We should be inspired by what other people are doing. And I remember being a young consultant at my other company and thinking like, what do people at the top make? Like, what can you even make here? No one would ever talk about it. No one ever shared anything. And one day when I reached the top of that company, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to make a video on how to make $10,000 in a month. And I'm going to tell people this is how you do it. And this is how I did it. Right. But let me just tell you something. $10,000 in a month, that might be life changing. That is like literally small potatoes compared to what people are making here. It is incredible and amazing and mind blowing. And like, I mean, you're seeing people, first of all, there's a millionaires club. Did you know that? There's a millionaires club where they celebrate you if you've earned $1 million here. How cool is that? Okay. They give you these big, giant life-size checks with like your earnings on them for the whole world to see. And the number one income earner, her name is Ale Fernandez. She's in Mexico. We went to a white party one night And Shayna was standing right there. And I said, hey, Allie, I'd met her before. And I said, I want you to meet Shayna and Donna. They were standing right with me. And I introduced her. I said, this is Shayna. This is Donna. She reached out her hand. She shook Shayna's hand and she said, hi, I'm Allie. I've been here 3.5 years and I've made $8 million. Drop of a hat. That was her introduction. That was her opening statement. And I thought to myself, that is so freaking refreshing. And that is so freaking good. And that is something to celebrate. And that is something to get excited about. And you might literally look at that and be like, $8 million, I could never. Or you could look at that and say, if she can, so can I. If she can, so can I. Tons of inspiration, tons and tons of inspiration. And a long time ago, someone said this to me, and it's always stuck with me. But when you know your why, you can endure almost any how. And what that means to me is I'd rather be inspired and get inspiration than have like tips and like, here's what you post and here's what you say, because I can figure that out. If I'm not inspired, none of those tips matter. None of the tricks and the posts and the systems, they don't matter if I'm not inspired. So I got so much inspiration from the stories, from the speakers, from the whole vibe, that I'm just like so thankful for that, because when you're inspired, you can figure it out. I always say that to my kids. Everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. If you're teachable enough and if you're willing enough and if you want to learn, you can. I love the clear vision, like Shayna talked about. That was a massive, massive thing for me. And then one of the last things that I loved so much, well, two things actually. Everyone was so kind. I never once got a like, you can't sit with us vibe, you know? It was always like a, you can sit with us, welcome. How can we help you? You know, like, I mean, it was so beautiful. No mean girl vibes, like just this true synergy of like working together and like, let's take this thing to the top. So that was really phenomenal. And then I loved that the quick moments that I did get to spend with Gochin and Emre, they asked for feedback and they were like, hey, what can we do better? How can we grow? How can we change? And they genuinely are like, tell me the things, I'll fix them. And that was like, again, I'm like, gosh, we have people in our corner. You know what I mean? Like we have people here who want to help us. This is the last thing. What Shayna said about just learning, like everything is content. Everything is content. And that was like our chant all week. Everything is content. And we would just pull out our phones. We'd be brushing our teeth, you know, like recording it. But like it was a new way of learning how to work. And it was a retraining of our brains. It was a you can do this kind of moment. It was a you're never too old, you're never too far gone. Like anyone can learn to do this and pivot and evolve. And the question is, are you willing to learn? And are you willing to pivot and evolve? That's it. The ball's in your court. So